sustainability and climate resiliency. This was a goal, I understand, maybe 4 or 5 years ago in a strategic plan that over time has kind of gotten encompassed into other goals, and there seems to be a desire to add that back in. Certainly an important part of the work that is already being done in your city by your city staff. A lot of things are mandated by law to be in compliance with Water Act, pollution requirements, recycling laws, all these things were now being mandated to do. So it does behoove the council and the city to make this a set standalone goal. So I know they're very wordy and I apologize for that. I'm happy to read them, let y'all read them, go through them one at a time, whatever makes sense. So I guess the first question is, do we all agree that we want to add the 7th goal? Okay. So the first one would be protecting the community from flood risk, something we all worry about, by modernizing critical stormwater infrastructure, integrating green infrastructure, and increasing the urban canopy. Urban canopy is also the tree canopy. Thoughts on that one? I don't want the integrating green infrastructure just to be, I mean, the way I read it, it's kind of saying we're going to protect the community by doing more green infrastructure, but I don't want it to be just that's what we're focused on, is we're only planning to address flooding. I think there needs to be an intentional approach to green infrastructure, not just flooding. I mean, this seems like in response to a concern about flooding, we want to plant, do more green infrastructure. What if we made those into 2 bullets? So the first one would be protect the community from increasing flood risk by modernizing critical stormwater infrastructure. And then the next one would be integrate green infrastructure and increase the urban canopy.
Yeah, that's
Does that work? Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Heidi's really excited about it.
Look at that smile.
No, trust me, she's thrilled.
Oh, she's customer service. She really is.
There we
just
go.
put a
See,
footnote that-
when you're smiling, we're all smiling.
We could
It's all
put a-
about the trees. Okay.
We could put a footnote to fund it as well, not just make it part of our strategic plan, but yes.
Okay. I'm making a $sign there. Anything else on those? So now the first one has now become 2 bullets. Anything on those? All right, the next one will be enhance local water supply reliability and drought resilience by implementing water capture, recharge, and recycling and reuse projects. Lofty goal, but a good one. You're good? Getting a nod. All right, everyone good on that one? Yes?
I have a question.
Sure.
Could there be the inclusion of to help address seawater intrusion, something along those lines?
Seawater intrusion in what specifically?
Well, as it approaches our city and our groundwater, I mean, it's not something we ever discuss as a city, but I think it needs to be highlighted that seawater is coming, and I think it's right at the border.
Mm-hmm. I think in my mind, I'm not a water specialist, but what little I do know, I think with the protecting against increasing flood risk, that part of those efforts will be about seawater intrusion. So, because flood risk is not just rain coming down, it's sea level rise as well. But we could certainly put in sea level rise somewhere if you want.
Renee has a comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let us, if that's something, let us work with Riva on that. We are obviously a member of the Salinas Valley Groundwater Sustainability Agency, which is actively working on that. So it's more than just us. So maybe we can figure out a way to craft it so we increase our intentionality and participation. We are targeting bringing a water master, one water plan to the council. I told you that we've been working on it for a while. So hopefully it gets to you by the end of the month. That'll speak of some of those efforts. So if you allow us to we can work together and sort of craft it, because I do agree it's important, but it's something that we're working with a lot of our other partners on. and we need to be more intentional about it.
Yeah, whatever we can do to weave it in there, just so we know that that's.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. The third, which will now be the fourth bullet, will be improve local water quality by reducing stormwater pollution to our creeks and advancing multi-benefit projects. So this could look as stormwater capture projects that reuse that water to irrigate during dry months, those types of projects. Any comments on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a good line, maybe add and focus on debris cleanup within our waterways.
That's a big one.
So improve local water quality and, I'm trying to figure out how to say that, by reducing stormwater pollution and debris removal and trash. Okay. Trash in our creeks, though, not to our creeks. Okay, got that. Any other changes on that one? Okay. The next one is advance the city's transition toward a low-carbon energy future by promoting energy efficiency, renewable energy generation, and clean mobility options. All good?
Mr. City Manager, can you explain that one there?
Well, I think it's moving towards having like electric fleets, I'd imagine, as part of that.
Yeah, so a lot of it's electrification. We belong to 3CE, so part of it is how do we promote renewable energy for future growth? So looking at whether it's microgrids, microtechnology, some of the other storage opportunities. We're even having a conversation with 3CE, and this is being developed so we can bring it to the council about a utility and how to sort of repower our future. PG&E clearly is going to be a big part of that as well, and our investor-owned utilities. So it's really trying to give us the breadth to kind of explore all these technologies. To the extent I think we have some opportunities with our wastewater in this space that we just haven't kind of explored to the level that's going to be explored. So it's not that it's going to happen tomorrow, but it gives us the ability to work towards that.
We're seeing a lot of cities looking at, whether it's solar generation or, as city manager said, energy storage, not necessarily creating their own grid, but having the opportunity to have microgrids within the cities. Obviously, we're seeing what's happening with electric supply throughout the state, particularly in our hotter months. So I think it's a long-term goal to be able to have some alternatives that the city is responsible for.
Thank you.
Yeah, so would clean mobility options include like the consideration of like e-bikes or scooters or bike rentals?
It's everything. It's the entire gamut of things that we don't even know tomorrow what it's going to be out there. But yeah, so it would be, e-bikes, anything that's a renewable source.
So can we call out a little bit more specifically, because just, clean mobility options, people are maybe thinking electric cars or things like that. Is there a way to include some, maybe alternative non-vehicle or non-car options?
I would suggest sort of reading the city manager's mind that until they're further along with some of the potential projects, you might want to hold back in this particular document, but you could have other things that are a little more detailed, but I'll leave it to the city manager.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking, but if the council wants us to put a little more detail, let us work through it, because you're going to get this back when we bring the budget. So
Right,
we'll have it, so it's not like, you'll see kind of as we're trying to adjust it based on the feedback today.
Right, I was just thinking, as you shared a little bit earlier, that people are reading our strategic plan. So if there is that, somebody saying, oh, look, they're looking at, alternatives to vehicles and maybe scooters or bike rentals, maybe they'll see, bring a proposal to the city. That was my thinking behind that.
I mean, we could change the word mobility to transportation, or mobility and transportation, and maybe that captures it.
Yeah, if you can give us, let us work through that, and then you'll see it as part of the budget document.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want an e-bike? I'm kidding.
No, but I've had residents, say other cities have those rental options and maybe a way to get people
Yeah.
out of their vehicles if they have an option.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're investing significantly in bike lanes and things like that, so just increasing the access to folks.
Yeah, so let's see if we can work on increasing the access. I would caution against being that specific, like, some cities are struggling with e-bikes. So I would just be real careful, like really teasing it out so we can, let us sort of frame it in a way that allows for that, but we don't kind of specifically call it out. That's what I would suggest.
Any other comments on that one? Nope, okay. And then the last one would be promote community resource stewardship by reducing landfill waste through increased diversion of compostable and recyclable waste. Probably already doing that one, but.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I heard somewhere that there's a possibility the Madison name might be going back to the Crazy Horse?
No, Crazy Horse will be open along with,
With the landfill?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's not an either or. It will become both.
Thank you.
So those are all of our new goals in Goal 7. Did anybody have anything they want to add in addition to what we put in here?
Yeah, I'd like to add something about reduce the use of pesticide use and maybe create some buffer zones or additional protection for residents.
So can you be more specific on city property?
On city
or-
property, but as well as, there are cities that have, and this is something we talked about at the League of Cities, but there are cities who have additional restrictions on pesticide use within their city limits for agricultural as well.
So kind of going to eye the city attorney here in terms of what the city is allowed to do in limiting the use of pesticides on private property. I know you can do certain things on city property, but banning things on private is possible or not possible?
Yeah, so I would, to the extent that we are doing goals for the city, I would recommend that it be limited to city property as opposed to private property.
But, could it be included? Is that something that's feasible to do? I know that's your recommendation, but
Well, I don't think it's feasible to regulate private property in that way, at least without looking into this some more. So I would suggest give us an opportunity to look at that and see if we can't include private property as well as public property in this goal.
Okay,
Just give us a chance to think about it.
sure. So for now, maybe city property.
Yeah, because along those same lines, Mr. Callahan, if I may, in Goal 2, we're talking about effectively promoting health and safety of unsheltered residents. There's been a lot of conversation around spray and it's impacting people, yeah, so I would appreciate us looking into it somehow.
We can certainly do that, but I would just sort of caution you that the recent complaints about quote-unquote pesticide use may not be entirely accurate. So let's just be careful about the road that we go down.
Okay. But with that, and I appreciate what you just said, is there any way, because you know what, a lot of times, I'll use the word lightly, a lot of times we get beat up with misinformation. So would it be right for us to give the factual information? Actually, if somebody's bringing an issue, would it be right for us to look into it and give out the factual information?
So,
That's part of the reason why I suggested give us an opportunity to look at it.
yeah, so and along with the city attorney, we are actually based, and it's come up a few times now. We follow a lot of strict protocols. You can spread your house with less restrictions than I can as a public employee. And so I think we can bring all that information to you. And then actually you can also tell us, well, we don't want you to spray on city parks. And so, it's just, so we can adopt those, and frankly, we do pay a lot of attention to that. But we can tighten that up, we can have a policy and so forth. So I think that's all appropriate, but just let us look into it.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we can go that. And as far as buffers, we already have with LAFCO and so forth, we already have some sort of things that we have to do when it comes to compatibility between urban and rural and ag, and how you align things and so forth. So that's all kind of already part of the mix a lot of times. So just give us an opportunity to kind of discuss all that and bring that forward.
Because certain cities have specific policies for
Correct.
weed tolerances, like as far as height, you know,
Yes.
as opposed to weed eating, as opposed to.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's absolutely, so just let us look at that. I think it's going to be a little long conversation, but if you tell us to bring that back, we can bring it back.
So just to be clear, we're going to hold off on adding that as a bullet, or you want to add that? I wasn't clear on what the desire
I'd
is.
like a reference to it, maybe not, you know, I'm not sure how we can weave that in there, because I do think, I mean, we're talking about the environment, so how can we
Asking the city attorney, would it be okay if we added in analyze the use?
Yeah, I think
as
we
opposed to
understand the
reduce?
intent of what you're trying to get at. Just give us an opportunity to, one, look at it, and then we can come up with some language that addresses your concern, Councilmember.
Thank you.
Great. Well, that is that. So next steps will be, your staff will include all of this towards the work